Hi, I'm Dick. This video is to continue the introduction of two aggregation functions, MINX and MAXX. This is also the episode of 2.2 of Stream 1. In Power BI, there are quite a few iterated functions whose function name ended with X. It is similar to those functions in Excel ended with IFS. Here, we just focus on the MAXX, max, min, and MINX. The usage of this function is to sort out the maximum or minimum value of either a column in a data table or a set of data. With X, it is only accepting data table column and allow filtering. Without X, no filtering is acceptable. MAXX and MINX is to find the highest or lowest value after filtering, usually in relation to current row value. I will use some example to explain this point later in this video. Finally, it replaces the if operation with max for replacing negative value with 0. Min for positive value with 0 for further calculation. The formula, as a result, is shorter and more readable. Another aspect I would like to draw your attention is that MAXX and MINX does not perform any summation on sorting the maximum or minimum value of a column of data table. It is better explained by a sample data set. Here we have a 6 column. And if we are going to sort out the maximum cells by city, this table is not sufficient because you can see that there is a long list. It is a transaction record. But we need to do the summation of sales quantity by city in order to sort out the maximum sales of a particular city. Otherwise, if we don't do this processing, MAXX or MINX will just treat every single row as individual candidate for evaluation. As a result, it would not sort out the maximum sales of the particular city. Finally, I would like to ask a question. Why max or min? I would say the range matters. That means the difference between max and min matters. It can help to sort out exception. If we have too high sales, then we may question if it will sustain. If we have a minimum sales too low, then we will question if it is correct, which help draw our attention to any probable problem area. All right? Okay, let's do a simple example of MINX and MAXX together. First of all, I need to input the data from Excel. The data set is a sales quantity. In this data set, we have 4 columns: date, product, city, quantity. I click on the transform data so that we can directly go to Power Query and do the examination of data. All right, it looks that these 4 fields have no issue. Then I go to table view, change the nature of date to don't summarize. And I add 2 fields, namely year and month, but I add a sub prefix of X in front of the name. Then month. Remember, don't summarize. I need to add 3 slicer, year, month, and city. To save time, I do the 3 slicer behind scene, and then you see that year, month, and cities. Okay, I add the bar chart. X-axis is the product, quantity being the y-axis. I sort it by product in ascending order. Okay, then what are we going to do next? You see that if I choose month 1 and there is no selection of cities, it assumes that all the cities are selected and are added up to show in the bar chart. Or if I select the city A, B, E, that means the quantity sold in city A and B and E are added up for this bar chart. Besides, we can also multi-select the month. See, this is the combination of month 1 to month 3 and cities with city A, city B, and city E. This is no big deal and easy. What I would like to do is, I would like to show a different color for the model with maximum sales. Obviously here, 37414. Say green in color, show this. And then the minimum sales model, show it with red in color. All the others will show the bar with gray in color. To this end, I need to create a measure in order to assign the color to individual bar of inside the bar chart. So first of all, I need to create the measures table. I call it sales measure. And a new measure, I name it bar color. Recall that MAXX, MINX, it would not do the summation. So I need to create a temporary table for the summation purpose. Here, I call it temp table. I use summarize with all except function. And inside, I use sales quantity, of course. Let's stop here for a moment. I'm going to explain what all except means. Now, recall that this measure is applied to the individual bar of the bar chart. Power BI will look through row by row. That means here, model by model. When Power BI look to model 1 is automatically selected in sales quantity data table. That means besides the slicer of year, month, and city take place, one more filter is in effect. It is the product slicer, and the value is model 1. So the sales quantity will only have one model, but it is not what we want. So I need the all record of products, but being filtered by year slicer, month slicer, city slicer. So that's why all except is used. It is interpreted like that. We would like to list all filter except year, month, and city, so that we can keep all the product. So here we can keep all the product. That's why we have the first column, product. And then the second column is the summation of quantity. Okay? Now, we need to use the current row. I would say current bar. For example, model 1. Compare against the maximum sales and minimum sales in order to determine what color is to be assigned. I use switch. Okay. What is the quantity of model 1 or of this current selected model? I use SUMX. Here, I'm using sales quantity. I'm not using temp table. Of course, I can use temp table, but it will require some criteria. But for sales quantity, as I mentioned earlier, model 1, when Power BI look to model 1 is automatically selected. The whole table of sales quantity will only have model 1 in place. So that's why it's easy to use SUMX with sales quantity. Here, this is only return the total sales quantity of model 1. Then I compare to the maximum sales of temp table. Now you can see that when I type TMP, it will list out all the variable or measure before this command line already created. So that's why I can choose temp table. When I type X, you see that XQTY, it is created before this command line. That means in the VAR temp table. So I can choose this. If the quantity equal to the maximum quantity, we assign green color. Same, if it equal to the minimum sales quantity, then we assign red. Otherwise, gray. Okay. Let me do some housekeeping. I delete the column 1. And then go to the column. Make sure this is all. And then click the FX here. Field value. Sales measure. Choose bar color. All right. You see that. Model 1. This is with the minimum sales quantity. Model C. This is with the maximum sales quantity. All right. We also add the data label. Okay. And then add one more reference line. Average line. Add the data label. For the line, I prefer yellow in color. We are almost done, except we need to show the range between maximum sales quantity and minimum sales quantity, and also add a ratio of maximum over minimum. Okay. For this purpose, I need to create a number of new measure. Max quantity. This measure is to sort out the maximum quantity. And it is possible because when I type X, then there is XQTY. It is created before this command line. That means in the creation of the temp table. All right. I also copy this because I need to create a minimum sales quantity measure. I'm lazy. All right. And then the range. And the ratio. Max QTY over min QTY. Easy. All right. Do the formatting. Keep one decimal place. And finally, add a measure. Let's use the multi-row card. Max QTY, min QTY, quantity range, and max quantity over min. Okay. Do some cosmetics. All right. At the boundary border. Much better. I expect you may have one more question. If we can sort out the maximum sales quantity and the minimum sales quantity, can we also sort out its associated model name? Let's see. Okay, I copy the max quantity and then create a new measure, say max product. All right. I assign the maximum quantity to a variable and see if we can sort out the name. I also use the MAXX and then add filter, temp table, XQTY equal to temp QTY. All right, then it's excellent. We can use the maximum quantity to filter and find out the product name. All right, product name. Whoop, there is no product. This column name only in sales quantity, and there is no square bracket product. So that means we cannot find out the model name. We cannot find out the model name. How comes? There must be something wrong with the temp table. Agree? I would like to stop here because it is beyond the scope of this video. In the next video, I will have a complete explanation about data table, which focus on temporary table. And I will bring you the solution and also the fully understanding of temporary data table. Alright? If you find this video helpful, please subscribe and click the like button. Happy PBI journey!